Auzu billahi minash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we will talk about the second part of this lesson. I mean, the remaining part of this lesson, the necklace. I'll begin it from here, and we'll see the words and their meanings, their usage as noun, as verb, as an adjective, and we'll be consistently or incessantly focusing upon the meaning in the context of the sentence. Okay, let me begin from here. Instead of being delighted as a husband had hoped, we were talking in the previous top lecture. We talked about how Mr. and Madam Lucille were invited by the office, by the Ministry of public instruction, Madam and George Lampono, and they had invited this couple in a ball to a ball. I mean a function in which the husband, Mr. Luziel, had come with an elated air that that on that day he would give a kind of a glimpse of happiness to his wife. But let's see today what is the reaction of his wife on this card that he is handed in. Okay, handed over. Instead of being delighted, she should have been very much elated and delighted while receiving a card, an invitation card for the party, as her husband had hoped. As you know, the husband had the only hope to keep his wife happy. She threw the invitation spitefully upon the table, murmur. I know she threw it. She cast it away, and as was it's an irony here. It's kind of dramatic irony where a man propose or thinks something to happen in some other mood from a different angle, but instead of being happy, she spitefully threw it away. Means she threw it away with contempt. With contempt and with bad taste. Okay, uh, she is murmuring. Murmur means when you speak something but that speaking is not meaningful, that's not heard by the rest of the people in a meaningful in the meaningful chunks. Okay, what to do you suppose I want with that? Wife says, wife murmurs, what to do with this in an invitation card? I I am not interested in it. When the husband was thinking that he would elate, he would see his wife happy today because he was having a card in his hand and he was trying to hand it over to his wife, and he was expecting this time his wife would be very much happy and cheerful. But instead of that, what happens? The wife turns sad. The wife turns indifferent. Okay, but my dearie, I thought it would make you happy. Now, dearie is a word that's used by the English people to say somebody who is very dear, who is very, very intimate. Okay, but my dearie, I thought it would make you happy. The husband says, "Oh dearie, oh lovely, oh darling, I was thinking that this card will make you happy, but instead of being happy, you have threw it away and you have showed that cold shoulder to it. Okay, you never go out, and this is an occasion and a fine one." Husband says to his wife that she never go out. She had never been out of the she had never been to any place, to any such occasion. And he says, this I was thinking that would give a kind of solicitation to you, but you have thrown it away. And a fine one. This was a fine occasion. This was one of the best opportunities you could avail. Everybody wishes one, and it is very select. Everyone has, want. Everyone is longing for such occasions, and these occasions are not, these occasions are very few. They are very select. Okay, not many are given to employees, and these occasions and these opportunities are not given to employees. This is sometimes seldom, these rarely these things and these occasions come in the life of employees. You will see the whole official world there. These are the words of the husband, Mr. Loziel, who says this. The whole official world will be there. All employees with their wives would be there. So it was one of the occasion. You should not have missed it. She looked at him with an irritated eye, and on this she reacted with an irritated eye. Means she was not feeling happy. She was feeling a kind of bad tone. You, Acha, and declared impatient, and she said impatiently, what do you suppose I have to wear to such a thing as that? And now he says, what do you think I would wear on this occasion, if even if I would accept this proposal of yours, that I would go to the ball, but I have no jewelry, and I have no clothes, and I have no dressing, no costume for such an occasion. So I, rightly threw it away. Okay. He had not thought of that, but this time this poor, simple, simpleton clerk had not thought of that. He stammered, he started lisping, his voice choked, because he had not thought of the dress, he had not thought of the jewelry, he had not thought of the associated things with this, with this function. And why the dress you wear when you go to the theater? He says, you can wear the same dress as you wear when you ever go to a theater for watching a movie, for watching a drama, okay, a play. It seems very pretty to you. And he says, he gives a kind of solace and satisfaction and confidence. He says, it seems pretty on you if you wear the dress that you wear normally whenever we happen to have a visit to a theater. Okay. Then he was silent, stupefied. On this, he was silent. He was, he could not utter a word. He had no utterance, possibly, for this, as an answer. Okay. Then, in dismay means gumsum. Dismay means, in a sort of, anxiety, a sort of disturbance. Okay. In dismay at the sight of his wife weeping, he saw his wife weeping, stammered, what is the matter? What is the matter? Now he's asking again and again, what's the matter? Why are you crying? Why are you showing this cold shoulder? What has gone wrong with you? By a violent effort on this, answering this part of his question, by a violent effort, he with complete confidence, he said, sorry, she said, she had controlled her vexation, she had controlled her disturbance, she had controlled her agony, she had controlled her frustration. Vexation here means frustration, and responded in a calm voice. She started saying in a calm voice, in a very mannered voice. What did she say? Wiping her moist. She's wiping like this. She's doing like this, and wiping her moist means numb, soaked cheeks. She's trying to, clear the tears on her face, and she says like this, wiping her moist cheeks. Nothing. Only I have nothing. She says, nothing, nothing. Only I have no dress, and consequently I can't go to this affair. I don't have a dress, I don't have a frock, I don't have jewelry. That's why this is why I cannot go to this affair. I cannot go to this party. Affair means party. Okay, give your card to some colleague whose wife is better fitted out than I. Then she suggested, she says, this card should be given to a colleague, to a friend, and whose wife is well fitted, whose wife is well fit, whose wife is convenient, and who had dresses and jewelry, all this. Okay. He was grieved but answered. On this occasion, now on this occasion, Mr. Luciel is grieved. He's grieved. He's agonized. He's unhappy. He's feeling a kind of sullenness. That snowberry comes at the surface level, and she says, "Let's see, Matilda." Okay, he says, "Let's see, Matilda. How much would a suitable costume cost?" Matilda is her name. Mr. Lucius' wife is called Matilda. Okay, Matilda. He calls her, "Oh, Matilda, let's see for how much, you know, how much would a suitable cost would a suitable costume cost?" Costume is a kind of cloth that's worn only for such occasions. I mean, the occasions that are special in one's life. So, or sometimes for marriage parties, some birthday parties, sometimes for other functions, a type of dress that's particularly worn. Okay, then something that would serve for other occasions. Now, other thing he says a costume that would be useful for other occasions as well. Something very simple, something not very much costly, something very much, at a convenient rate. We will try to buy it. Then she reflected for some seconds, thinking, or some not for some times she was, thinking, calculating the sum as if there was a hope of buying a costume. Okay, thinking of a sum that she could ask for without bringing it with it an immediate refusal and frightened exclamation from the economical clerk. Now she, on the other hand, she is now thinking about the price and the cost for that could be, convenient for buying a costume that could be, used for such an occasion and other such occasions as well. So he is calculating the sum because she knew that she was not financially, economically well. She could not buy very, hi-fi dress for these such things. She's, calculating on the fingertips. Okay, then I can't tell exactly, but it seems to me that 400 francs ought to cover it. She says she's guessing that she could buy it 400. It could be a 400 francs. Francs is a kind of, francs is currency of France. So francs could be 400 francs could cover this type of dress. Okay. He turned a little pale, for he had saved just this money, I mean, just this type of this sum to buy a gun that he might be able to join some hunting parties next summer. Now, when he heard this calculated sum from his wife, that it would demand, 400 francs, that would be convenient to buy this, dress that could be worn on such occasion. This person falls flat. Why? Because he had somehow managed to save this much of sun, this much of money, this much of francs, only to go for, hunting. Hunting is their a kind of hobby. They would go in the summer to shoot logs, and with his friends. He had his plan for such thing, but it's completely, ironical. He had saved this much of some for some other purpose, but this time he is using the same sum for some other purpose that's not much worth. Okay, then he said, other next summer with some friends who went shoot logs on Sunday. He had to go, or the people who he is in company with, who had already been for, hunting larks on Sundays. So he was thinking that he would, buy a gun, or the money that he had actually saved would come in handy when he would go shooting larks on Sundays. But this time, it's ironical. He is now caught in a bad situation where he cannot say no to anything. Okay, Nevertheless, he answered, "Very well, I will give you 400 francs, but try to have a pretty dress." This is the intrigue. This is the mental, this is the mental drama, mental play going on in his mind. That he was thinking to buy a gun for shooting logs on Sundays with his friends. But you can't deny your wife. You can't deny your wife because this is the nature, this is the law of nature, that your wife is too greedy, your wife is too, you have to sacrifice yourself when you are in a spouse life. Okay, then he says, but try to have a pretty dress. Now he is handing over, he is willingly or unwillingly, he is surrendering this much of money to his wife, and tells her to get a pretty dress. Okay, the day of the ball approached. Meanwhile, the day of the ball approached, and Ma'am Lucille seemed sad. Still, he is sad. While she should have been very happy now because she had got the dress, but she's still sad. Okay, disturbed, anxious, these are the same words indicating and suggesting, and these are the associative words of all this mental disturbance, obtrusion. That is sad, disturbed, and anxious, all the three things: sad, nakhush, disturbed, pareshan, anxious, pareshani. All the three words suggest the same. Nevertheless, her dress was nearly ready. Now she had, although she had her dress ready at this time, her husband said to her one evening, "What's matter with you?" Now he's again asking, "What's matter with you? You asking for the dress that I have already made. Now, how and why are you so sad? You have acted strangely for 2 or 3 days. You have been acting strangely. Means you are not showing your cheerful mood. You should have been very happy, but instead of being happy, you are sad. Why? What is the matter? This time it could be some another scenario laid for this poor clerk. Okay. Okay. As she responds, "I am vexed." She says, "I am very much disturbed. I am very much uh, dismayed. Why? Not to have a jewel." This time she asks for jewelry. Okay, she had no jewel, nothing to adorn myself with. She had no flowers or something, the necklace, etc., etc. "I shall have such a party, Strucken. Look, how can I go to this party with this poor look, with this poor personality, though I'm beautiful, but I don't have I don't have good dress on me. I would prefer not to go to this party." Again, she is taking a lame excuse. She would not go to the party because she is not well dressed. Okay. He replied, "You can wear some natural." He says from his simple nature. He says that you can wear some natural flowers, the garden flowers that look very chic, that look very beautiful on this day. In this season, they look very chic, means beautiful. Okay. She was not convinced on this. How can you convince your wife when she is demanding something bigger than your height? Okay. "No," she replied, there's nothing more humiliating than to have a shabby air in the midst of the rich women." She says that, "How can I bear the sight when I'll be surrounded by rich women who would be covered with gold, and would be covered with embroidered jewelry. Okay, how can I bear that sight, and how can I feel myself happy there?" Okay. She was convinced. No, she replied, "There is nothing more than Acha." Then her husband cried out, "How stupid we are!" An idea strikes his mind. The mind of Mr. Lucille strikes. "What's that?" "Go and find your friend, Ma'am Frostier." He suggested his wife that go and seek help from your friend, Ma'am Frostier. Okay, and ask her to lend you your jewel, and go and take jewel, borrow some jewelry from her. She uttered a cry of on this she was happy. She uttered a cry of joy. It is true, she said, I had not thought of that. Now she says she had not thought of going to her friend and ask her jewelry. Now she would go. Okay. The next day she took herself to her friend's house and related a story of distress. Madame Prostier went to the closet, took out a large jewel case, brought it, opened it, and said, "Jules, my dear." Next day, on the following day, she goes to her friend and she, puts her suggestion on the table to her, before her friend, and her friend realizes the pan of this woman. She says go, and she keeps everything before the case in which all the jewelry is put. Keeps the case before her, and she says, choose which one would fit to you. Okay. uh, she saw at first some bracelet, then a collar of pearls, then a Venetian cross of gold and jewels of admirable workmanship. She tried the jewels before the glass, hesitated, but could neither decide to take them nor leave them. Then she asked, "Have you nothing more?" She is given a lot of opportunity. She's given then a collar of pearls. This is one of the jewelry, collar of pearls. This type of a collar, and on which there are pearls, a Venetian cross of gold, a cross, cross of gold. This is the Christian woman wear the cross, and that was of gold, and jewels of admire, and a number of jewelry with admirable workmanship, means a lot of embroidery was done on them. She tried jewels before glass. She tried to, those old jewels before glass, but she could not satisfy. This jewelry could not satisfy her, and she asked for more. Then, why, yes, look for yourself. I don't know what will please you. Now her friend says to her that you look yourself which one would fit to you and choose which one would you like to have. Suddenly, she discovered in a black stand box a superb necklace of diamond. All of a sudden, her sight is caught. Sorry, a necklace diamond, a necklace of diamond catches her sight. It was of superb quality, according to her. Her hands trembled as she took it out. Her hands started trembling, wavering like this, because she thought, it could be very costly, and maybe she would deny this item. She placed it about her throat. She's now placing it about her throat, and was ecstatic, and was very happy, excited, exuberant on this occasion. Then she asked in a hesitating voice, full of anxiety, "Could you lend me this? Only this?" Then she says, "Can you lend me this? This is one of the things that I was looking for. Now I got it. If you can lend me this, then I would take this." And what happens next, inshallah, in the next video we'll be talking about this. Till then, thank you very much. Study hard, like this video if you find it better, if you find it satisfying you. Like this and subscribe this. Thank you very much.